Hey guys, it's Ash again, and welcome to the 5th episode of my journey to level 40 heroes. Thanksgiving break is next week for me, and I can't wait. By that I mean I can't wait to farm like hell. I'm really gonna use that extra time to farm my level 10 walls, which I've started, and I've just completed 18 of them. So yeah, it's looking great. My Barbarian King is level 18, my Queen is now level 15. Both of my Expos are now level 3, and they look pretty badass right now. Don't you guys think? Well, now let me share some replays of some of my great Dark Elixir farming raids, as well as some from my clanmates. In the first replay, I'm going to discuss a lot of strategy because it's filled with a bunch of strategies I commonly use when I'm farming Dark Elixir. And it will also help you improve your raids, learning from all the important factors that go through my mind when I attempt to raid a base. In this premature Town Hall 10 base, you can see that most of the Dark Elixir is on the left side of the base. So if you're farming for Dark Elixir, then you should only be focusing on getting the Dark Elixir, and the win if you need to. That means that every other defense outside the range of the Dark Elixir are not important, so you should just ignore them. As well as the Clan Castle, it's nowhere within the range of the Dark Elixir, so you don't even have to trigger it. Next, what you need to do is assess all the defenses surrounding the DE storage. The first thing you should assess is the Inferno Tower. What do you recognize about it? It's a single targeting Inferno Tower, meaning that it can only attack one troop at a time. This is great because we're planning on sending multiple troops at the same time to take the Dark Elixir. Next, you need to look at the Expos. All the Expos are set to ground only, which means that they have a 14 tile attack range, but also means that they can't target your minions. Those two cannons can't target your minions, neither can that mortar, nor the Barbarian King. Just from that, you can see that the minions should play a key role in this raid. You can see that I have 46 minions with me, and that's because when my DE storage is full, I train minions non-stop to farm golden elixir instead, and to donate them to my clanmates. I highly recommend not having more than 20 minions with you when you're farming Dark Elixir, because you need to maximize your Dark Elixir profit, as minions cost Dark Elixir to train. And you'll see soon enough that I don't even need to use much minions to get all the Dark Elixir from this base. Now, what's the best way to attack this base, instead of just randomly throwing out a bunch of troops and just pray you get the Dark Elixir? Well, remember, the biggest threat to your army is splash damage, so you need to prioritize on getting them out of the way first. The two wizard towers are only protected by a layer of walls, so should we just ambush those two wizard towers quickly? No, that would be foolish because there is a Barbarian King close by, which means that if the king attacks one of our troops, then all our troops will be forced to attack him. And the king is a tank. If you're going to attack that king, then those two wizard towers are going to easily wipe out all your troops within seconds while your troops are busy attacking the king. So instead, what we're going to do is send one barbarian out first to distract that Barbarian King. And immediately, without wasting much time, we're going to kill one of the wizard towers. Now here's my favorite method of getting rid of wizard towers. I call this attack the multi-dimensional attack. First, I send in a few barbarians and archers. Make sure you space them out so that the wizard tower can target all your ground troops at once. The barbarians act as shields while the archers attack behind them, and this is from the ground. Then I quickly send in a few minions to attack from the air. And this is why it's called a multi-dimensional attack, because the wizard tower can attack both ground and air troops at the same time. It has to decide on attacking the ground troops first or the air troops. Since I sent out ground troops first, it will attack the closest ground troops, while my minions are completely protected for as long as the ground troops are alive. and this combination will ultimately allow me to remove the wizard tower in only a matter of about 3 seconds. And at the same time, I'm going to send in another barbarian next to the king to keep him distracted. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, send in the barbarians to distract the king, then use my multi-dimensional attack to quickly remove the other wizard tower. Now I'm going to prioritize on getting rid of the other splash damaging defense in the way, which is the mortar. Send out a couple of barbarians to have them run around so they can distract the mortar and the archer tower and the expo firing behind them. The expo is set to ground, so my minions are invulnerable to it and will quickly get rid of the mortar. Now that the archer tower and the wizard towers are out of the way, nothing is protecting the cannon. Remember, Inferno towers have a 9 tile radius of attack and can attack both ground and air troops. So what I need to do is keep my minions out of its range if I wish to remove that king with minions. So what I'll do is send in a barbarian to pull that king away from the range of the Inferno tower. And as long as I do that, the minions are going to act like parasites, eventually sucking out the life of that king. Now look, no more splash defenses in my way. Time to throw in a bunch of barbarians and break through that wall. There were 2 well-placed giant bombs in those 2 empty 2x2 tiles, but that's not going to save them. Now that I have removed all splash defenses in my way, and have broken through the layer of wall, and activated both giant bombs, I'm free to send in a swarm of archers to take all the remaining dark elixir in that storage. And there you go, not only was I able to get all the dark elixir, I only used 10 minions, 51 archers, and 40 barbarians to do so through all those defenses. That's a total of 111 housing space. So I only used about 50% of my camp space. That's going to save me a lot of time so that I can quickly go back to raiding another base with a full army. This is a common type of base that I come along very often. Basically, the dark elixir is guarded by 3 layers of walls on top and high level defenses. But I'm going to show this guy just how unsafe his base is against the simple composition of BAM. Again, the first things you look at is the clan castle, the empty tile spaces in the way, and the mode of those expos if they're loaded or not. Then you need to worry about all the splash defenses in the way. The first thing that pops out is just how poorly protected that mortar is and how far the 2 wizard towers are on top. Then you have an empty space above that DE storage and 2 above the mortar, which means that there's most likely Teslas or giant bombs there. So if we were to assess every defense in the way for us to get that DE storage, then we can completely ignore those 2 wizard towers just because they're not in the range to hurt us. Start by quickly removing that level 7 mortar. The quicker we remove it, the less we have to worry about splash damage. Point defenses like the cannon and the archer tower are just gonna get overwhelmed by our barbs and archers. And while those barbarians run around, they're gonna act like mini tanks and shields for the archers. The large group of archers are gonna take the DE storage before the wizard tower gets the opportunity to obliterate them. So yeah, this is just another example of just finding the weakness of a base and exploiting it, regardless of how good the defenses are. Now, I know that I haven't been carrying wall breakers in my previous Dark Elixir farming raids, and I apologize because I really do recommend carrying about 4 wall breakers just because they can make a significant difference in raids as they're better at breaking through walls than the group of barbarians. I'm also new to Rage Spell and I am waiting on maxing it out to level 5, but even at low levels the Rage Spell is very effective. Now at first glance, you can see that the Dark Elixir storage is embedded inside 2 layers of walls and protected by a high level wizard tower and a couple of mortars behind it. Even so, it should be pretty easy to raid without me having to use my Rage Spell. Well, that's what I thought at first, but then he has his clan castle, and what's bad about it is that it's carrying wizards. Wizards do splash damage, so they're gonna obliterate my swarm of barbarians and archers all at once if I don't do something. So I will do something about it. I'll place a rage spell here to quickly kill those wizards, and at the same time take all the dark elixir from the storage at a fast rate before the mortars or the wizard towers get the chance to wipe all my troops out. And there, I even underestimated the rage spell and spawned a bunch of extra barbarians for no reason. Now I'll share a couple of raids by my clanmates. The first one is by Zcon, and he's going to show you how effective a combination of rage spell and heal spell is when used together. As you can see, the dark elixir is guarded heavily by a bunch of high level defenses with high HP structures around them. Zcon's going to start by getting rid of that town hall and the outside structures first, as well as send in a couple of barbarians to trigger the clan castle if there's anything inside it. There's nothing inside it, and even though those two inferno towers are multi-targeting, the method Zcon's gonna use will allow him to quickly take the dark elixir and run. He starts by sending in a few troops to activate all possible bombs in the way. And when he's safe, he's gonna let it all out, and this is where he's gonna throw in both his rage spell and heal spell together. This will allow his troops to be invulnerable to those wizard towers' splash attack and the weak multi-targeting inferno towers attacks. And at the same time, they will be able to quickly vaporate those point defenses and high HP resource storages thanks to the rage spell. Both spells were perfectly placed, and they're just gonna overwhelm all defenses and devour that DE storage in one big gulp. Great job, Zcon. Zcon is gonna showcase his method again in this raid, which has the dark elixir storage encapsulated within 3 layers of walls, right in the center and protected by high level splash defenses. He's gonna start by sending in a line of barbarians to activate possible bombs along that path and remove all outlying structures out of the way. He will then place his rage spell plus heal spell combo along the edge of where he wants to direct his troops towards. And at the same time, all those splash damaging defenses like the level 6 wizard tower and the mortar are not going to do anything to his troops, and at the same time get vaporized in moments. Those clan castle giants are going to be a problem for him, as they can stall out his troops and time out the spells too. So Zcon's not going to take any chances. He's going to place another well placed rage spell right against those giants, and at the same time along the direction of the dark elixir storage. The giants aren't going to last long, and those level 7 archers are under the raid spell are gonna just tear through that D storage in seconds. Thank you again for another great raid, Zcon.